Hailing from Singapore, Hayden Ng is a highly acclaimed designer and philanthropist who has made immense contributions to the Southeast Asian fashion scene. His brand Hayden have made a name for themselves through their unique approach to luxury women's wear, their heavy use of color, and their tendency to produce timeless designs. On top of that, he's dressed Miss Universe Singapore on multiple occasions and even created the ASEAN Fashion Designers Showcase, a platform to help propel ASEAN's best fashion designers into the limelight. I caught up with Hayden over the phone recently as we talked about his journey into building the brand, designs, and ASEAN's fashion industry.
Fashion designing is something that I really discovered at a young age, and this is what I liked. But I forgot all that because of parental situations where they wanted me to study science. So I did the science studies. At the same time, I like to draw. So I was continuing drawing. So that made me spur my passion further, and I pursued it after my graduation.
So you've completed your degree in science?
Yes.
Wow. And how many years did it take for you to do that?
The science is just the basic, the O-levels, we called it before.
Just to please the parents, right?
Yeah.
And then what about the fashion school?
I didn't go to fashion school. During my time, there was no fashion schools. Everything was just learned on-site, on-hand, trial and error, experiments, and yeah.
Were there any big events or other instances, which you think contributed immensely to your success?
I gained international recognition after dressing Miss Universe Singapore when it was held in Singapore that year, when she got into the top 10. So that catapulted me to a level that people recognize my work more internationally, and that gave me more profile.
I know you've designed for Miss Universe Singapore on a number of occasions, right? So how did you get involved in that scene, and what's the experience like?
The experience is actually very rewarding because basically the girls would actually entrust you with what your vision is, and they will work together with you as to how they can work it out best for themselves also. The whole thing is about bringing out the beauty of the person wearing the garment, just besides the clothes. So we have to understand her personality, what is her face shape, what works for TV, what works for stage. So a lot of elements are thrown into it. It's just not about designing a dress or a gown.
Do they usually express what they like, or perhaps maybe, the colors, do they give some input into the designing as well?
I hear their input, but at the same time, it's because it's about TV and it's about stage. So different lightings give a different effect as to what you would see in real life. Then you see on TV when a colored light hits you or something, or the set comes in, it's a different color, it comes out. So we have to put a lot of those factors into consideration to make the garment. So it's not just a garment per se.
You're from Singapore, where national service is mandatory. So how did you manage to balance fashion designing with national service back then?
Well, I was a bit more hardworking in that sense. So after work, I would still continue my passion as to continue designing for my friends, for people who wanted me to make clothes for them, basically.
Oh, what was the first few garments that you've designed?
Well, first few garments, actually, it's a lot. We're talking about 36 years ago. So it's a bit, I got to think about this. Yeah, there are a lot. I mean, one of the first few that I designed for was Miss Universe Singapore, back in 1987.
Now, let's talk more about your designs. You see, walk us through your designs. What's your creative vision behind designing them as such,
My vision is usually, I take a lot of inspiration from Singapore because that's my home base. That's where I'm based. And in Singapore, there are lots of things that can inspire you. It can be the food, it can be the lush scenery, the buildings, the urban things. There are so many things. So as a designer, it's what you seek inspiration from.
And so what are the usual things in Singapore that usually, like for your recent collection? So what are you inspired by?
Blossoms is about flowers, basically, because Singapore is basically a lot of greenery, a lot of flowers everywhere you go. So I use that in a lot of my work, because I think prints are about happiness. Flowers about blooms, it's about growth, it's about people growing. So that makes happiness for me. Basically, every garment has to be a bit more happy.
So every garment has a story behind, I would say?
I would say for the person wearing it, because when they come to me, I would just choose a garment that fits their body and their lifestyle. I think that is more important, not the other way around, where the garment becomes too loud that they overshadows the person.
What kind of prints do you like to play with most?
Mostly louder prints.
Louder prints,
Colourful
yeah.
prints. Happy prints, yeah. Because a lot of my client base are from the media, maybe TV or stage.
Yeah.
So it's all about TV and it's all about prints and color. And nowadays, in today's world, we're talking about social media, so everyone likes to post pictures and all that. So it goes back to the elements of colors and prints, so to make it pop.
Would you say that each and every collection that you have, you play around mostly with vibrant colors?
Actually, 95% of it.
95. So in terms of the colors, do you follow color of the year, or it's just whatever color you prefer?
I follow mostly what is in trend, because all my fabrics are invented from Europe. So when the hangers are sent over, the hangers of fabrics for our choice, it's usually per season, 2 seasons before the actual season.
Where do you source your fabrics, and what kind of fabrics do you like to play with most?
I source my fabric mostly from Europe, and I like a lot of chiffon. My clients, they travel a lot, so the fabric has to be light, easy, that you can take it out of the bag and you just put it in to steam it out in the bathroom or something, and they can wear it straight away. So it's hassle-free in that sense.
Oh, I love hassle-free garments.
Yeah.
Now, your brand, also named Hayden, is known to take a simple, individualistic approach to luxury. So what does this mean? Is luxury not usually individualistic?
It depends on how you see luxury. For me, luxury is about simplicity. Sometimes it doesn't mean that a lot of sequins, a lot of bling, it makes it luxurious. Luxury can be about the cut. It can be about the fabrication used. It can be about how the garment goes on you and works for you. That can be luxury. So I take a simplistic look on it in that sense.
Now, for an aspect of life, that is very much driven by trends, how does Hayden, the label, avoid having the life cycle of one? Do you think there's a benefit to not having designs driven by popular trends?
For me, I would normally take a trend or an element of the trend to infuse it into a silhouette that is classic, that is perennial. So you can take it, you can wear it now when it's trendy, take it out 2 years later, and you can still wear it and it still looks trendy. That is how my designs are created for. It's more timeless, that's what people would say.
Yeah, I think people would invest more on outfits, clothing that are timeless, I would say, right?
Yeah, good clothing with good fabrication, good cuts, that can allow you to take it in and out without looking dated. I think that is so important.
Now, you showcased some designs very recently at the Borneo Fashion Week. Tell me all about it.
Blossoms is about resort. So it's about the lifestyle of a woman that travels a lot, easy to wear garments. You can take it from day to night with just a whip and change of accessories. That's all.
And how many collections, how many pieces do you have in a collection?
Then we did 10 looks only.
So how was the reception like then?
The reception was very encouraging. So we are looking forward to the next Borneo Fashion Week next year.
So what are your upcoming collections that you have for 2019?
2019, later on in the year, we'll be showing our fall, which is more on prints, of animal prints. I think we're talking about leopards and leopard spots and all that stuff. It's very fall, which is very current now.
It is. It is in trend right now, definitely.
Yes, and for spring next year, we're talking more about going back to the florals again, because the weather in Asia becomes a little bit warmer. Predominantly, our market is ASEAN. So we have to cater for our people, rather than be catered to what it's in the other part of the world.
But do you plan to actually, perhaps maybe, expand to Europe countries or other countries as well?
Well, we take one step at a time. We focus more on our own countries first in the ASEAN region. Then we talk about Europe and all that.
I see.
Because it's still our home base.
Definitely.
ASEAN is still our home base. So we have to look after all our own home base first, rather than, we go to Europe and all that. No. So we do our home base first.
So what do you hope for, in the future for your company and in Asian fashion as a whole?
Well, I hope to give more platform to younger designers so that they can more leeway in the near future. For myself, hope everything works out well and create more happiness for everyone in terms of my design and platforms.
That was Hayden Ng telling us more about his collections.